This is Main Street with Gary Allen. Now, here's Gary.
And welcome to all of you. I hope everything is going well since the last time we got together to do one of these shows. We've got a great show for you today. I have Mr. Franke Previte joining us in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to that, I just want to remind everybody next week is Memorial Day. We will not be doing a show. We're going to take some time off. And even on the 3rd, we're not going to be doing a show. My producer and I and some others, we're going away for a little while. And then we'll be back with some regularly scheduled programming as we continue to move forward. And very soon, I'm going to be able to tell you how you'll be able to get these shows on Spotify. Some of my old shows from the back when, the old Main Street, and now the new Main Street. So stand by for that. We're going to be excited to talk to you all about that. But first off, I just want to thank the Japanese Gardens of Miami for their continued support of this particular program, the Elks Lodges of South Florida for their continued support, and I think the American Legion is going to be joining us before too long, and of course, my executive producer, Mr. Rick Del Vecchio, and Tommy Shett, who is the board producer of this program, as well as executive producer while the program is running. The gentleman that I have on the program today is one half of one of the best producing organizations in all of New York. His name is Franke Previte. To many of you, you may already know that name. Some of you may not. He's an Academy and Golden Globe award-winning singer, songwriter. He also co-wrote the I've Had the Time of My Life and Hungry Eyes from the movie Dirty Dancing. He is now producing a musical show with his wife, Lisa Sherman, who was going to join us today, but she will join us at a further show down the road called Taylor, Simon, King. It's all about the 3 American troubadours who put together some of the greatest music that most of us all grew up on. You've Got a Friend. My mind, I have it in front of me, but my mind is absolutely going crazy. So before I go too far, let me bring on board one of my dearest, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, one of my dearest friends in the whole world, which I am lucky to call a dear friend, Mr. Franke Previte. Franke.
Hey, Gare. How are you, buddy?
Hi. We're going to cut it short today. I'm letting the audience know up front because Franke's in the middle of editing some video from the show, Taylor, Simon, King. And before we go too far, a celebration of 3 of America's top troubadours that ever existed. Where did this idea come about between you and Lisa, your lovely, beautiful wife and co-producer of this program? And would you please put up the phone number, Tommy, so people, if they want to make reservations, please do, or get a hold of everybody to find out what's going on. And then there's also a website that we'll get to in a little bit. All right, Franke, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
It's okay. It's all good. This show really was a creation that happened out of a happenstance. Lisa was at a party with a close friend of hers, a really good singer, Beth Ann, and another singer, Byron Smith. And they were just around the piano at this party jamming, and Beth Ann would sing It's Too Late. And then Lisa would come in and, sing a Carly song. And then, obviously Byron, who had a very beautiful voice, would come in and they would do You've Got a Friend, Up on the Roof, from songs that Carole King, Carly Simon, and James Taylor wrote. And they all looked at each other and went, did we just create a show? And
Yeah.
So it started probably before COVID. And unfortunately, through COVID and all the world kind of stood still. And, music was no longer being played in nightclubs and in theaters. And unfortunately, Beth Ann passed away. And, it devastated us as friends. And it kind of put a halt into the idea. So after COVID, Lisa decided that, let's try to put this band back together. And a close friend of ours, Tim McClune, who has about 4 or 5 different nightclubs throughout New Jersey, down the Jersey Shore, said to us, the nightclub's closed, but if you want to do like a filming of a show or something, you want to do a podcast, you want to do something, just come into the club, set up and film
Right.
it.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, here's a really good opportunity to put this band together and to start to not only brand it, but be able to give back to different charities. So I got a hold of the First Responders Children's Foundation and told them, listen, we're going to do this podcast and we're going to charge people like $10 to come for an evening and listen to Taylor Simon King. And we're going to
Right.
donate that money to the First Responders Children's Foundation. So
Oh, wow. How cool.
we raised a whole bunch of money for them. We brought the board of directors on the show with us. We did an after party where you could listen to the show and then actually come and talk to some of the performers and talk to the people from the first responders. And it was a success. So we did it for other charities, for Alzheimer's, for at the animal shelters. And by that time, you know, things were starting to loosen up a little bit. And the show took on a life of its own. And now we're playing in, you know, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 seat theaters all across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut. So it's taken on people, you know, it's really, the music is the soundtrack of our lives.
Yeah. It's a soundtrack of a generation.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
And
how many of us have sat in a room feeling down, feeling left alone, not wanted, not loved, you know, whatever you're feeling, and suddenly James Taylor or Carly Simon come on, you've got a friend.
right.
Huh?
Exactly. And you know what is so cool is that when we're actually performing this music, the audience is singing louder than the band.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh,
That's wonderful. By the way, if people want to go to the website, what is it TaylorSimonKing.com?
That's it, Gare. That's it. TaylorSimonKing.com. And, you know, you'll see all different photos of different theaters. You'll see the performers. You can actually, what we do is we have a thing we call fandemonium. And we tell our audiences, send in your videos of the performance of a you know, song that you like. And so we pick the one video from that performance and we view all the ones that come in and we pick a winner and then we view it and that winner gets 2 tickets to the next show.
Wow. Hey, Tommy, put up that picture for us, Taylor Simon King, please, for me. Just put up that picture because as we're talking, I want people to see this. There you go. The gentleman looks like a James Taylor, and that's Lisa in the middle. That's his beautiful wife and a good friend of mine. And I don't know who the young lady is in the end, but
her name is Alice Leon. And interesting enough, she grew up in the same town as Carole King and was mistaken for Carole King many times. And she's an unbelievable singer. She does all the Carole King songs and plays piano. And she tells a story, which I find very interesting. She said, you know, when I was in my 20s, I you know, was striving to get a record deal. And I finally got one for Sony Records. And so I'm doing my album. And I find out that Carole King wrote a song for me. And
really?
Yes. And she goes, so on my first record, there's a song from Carole King. Not as good as this song I'm about to do for you, but I got a song from Carole King.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, by the way, I mean, this, you know, I've been trying to get this show down here to South Florida for a very, very long time. And, you know, it's a huge ensemble of people, which brings up a question I asked you before the show, and we're going to talk about it now. Sometime in July, or probably in July or August, I would like to get the entire cast, even if it takes your house and Lisa's house or whoever's house, and get the entire cast and talk to everybody about the emotional value of what this show has done for them. Because I know when I'm driving along and I hear a song that reminds me of something back in the day, whether it be the Rolling Stones or whether it be James Taylor or whether it be one of your songs, Hungry Eyes or something, it emotes an emotion. And I wonder what it's like on stage since you're off the stage, but I wonder what Lisa feels sometimes when she's doing these different songs and the other two the folks that sing and the band members. It's got to be so wonderful.
Well, Carole King wrote a song called Natural Woman,
Yes.
which Aretha did. And we end the show with that song with Lisa singing it. And she belts out this high note at the end of the song, and the whole place just stands on their feet. And when we did it at the Count Basie, which is in Red Bank, it's a 1,500 seat theater. She just bursted out crying.
Yeah.
The emotions that an audience can emote in a singer, bring out in a singer when they connect, gives that singer the feeling of, I want to give more, thank you. And
yes.
It's an emotional thing. I don't know if an audience really realizes how emotional it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's if I can acquaint it to people who may not understand what you were saying, it's like being at a ball game or a football game and the crowd is really into the home team and the home team is maybe a little behind. That little rush of enthusiasm, that little rush of, yeah, sometimes will help a team get going even better. But in Lisa's case, come on, Lisa's one of the most talented performers in all of the tri-state, if not United States area. I mean,
well, God bless her, because she worked very hard and got a scholarship for dance, and then ended up in her 20s being a rockette. And then from that, going on to doing Broadway plays, Evita, West Side Story, and then got her own TV show for 9 years in New Zealand. So she's lived in New Zealand for 9 years doing her own television show that Nike sponsored. So she's a lifer. She's been doing it forever.
Well, anyway, let's see if we can make it happen with the entire cast, huh, Frankie?
We'll give that a try. The only time to really do that is maybe at a rehearsal or maybe at a sound check at a gig or something, and we just have everybody in one place. Because when you have as many members, it's a small orchestra that comes on stage.
Well, even if we got the three leads and a couple of the other people, I just want to get an ensemble experience of this show because it's such an amazing show, such a beautiful show. When you're going through a number of productions, how often do you take this song out and put that song in? Do you take this song out? Now, there are certain songs you're not going to take out. I don't care who you are. They're just synonymous with whoever we're talking about. But are there songs that are interchangeable that you take out for a while, put this one in, take that one out, put that one in, just to freshen it up a little bit?
Yes, we do. But we never really take them out for good. When we play within a tri-state area, we have a following. And so we want to make sure that following is always entertained. And so we add new songs, we take out other songs. But you have your staple songs that you're never going to take out. You've got a friend, and It's Too Late. You're So Vain. I feel. Do you
know a girl actually accused me of that song was me, and I said, and I ran into her about 5 or 6 years ago. Oh no, wait, when I was performing in Vegas, and she looked at me, honest to God, Frankie, and she said, "I told you, you are vain. You're on stage. You're like on top of the world." She said, "Do you have a Learjet over at McCarran?" I said, "No, but if you know somebody who wants to give me one, that's fine. They're expensive to keep up." There are just the songs that are on this production are literally the lives and the tapestry of a generation.
Yeah,
it's what binds us all together. Now, you and Lisa are both younger than I, but you're much better looking than I. I have to say that because I love Lisa way too much.
Well, Lisa's better looking than both of us put together, bro.
Oh, please. That woman is a 20 plus, forget a 10 plus. But when you cast this tremendous production with all this different music, is there a thread? Is there a common denominator amongst all the people you bring in, is there an appreciation already for the music?
Yes. Yes. You know, the musicians are all within the same age range, so their taste for music is varied, but they all grew up with this music. So when we put it together, you already know the song. Maybe you don't know it like how you're going to start it or end it, but most of them, and we have violin, we have a saxophone, we have keyboards, we have bass, drums, acoustic guitars, we have 4 to 5 different singers. So there is, we orchestrate these songs so they don't sound just like, well, I can put on a record and that's what it's going to sound like. We take it and do a little bit of a unique twist in our arrangements. So like a song like Beautiful, when we start the song Beautiful, you wouldn't even know what song we were playing. And
Really?
So, yeah, the lead singer, like Alice, will talk over top of the song and she'll go, you know what? I've gone to see that Carole King Broadway play like 3 times. She goes, it's so incredible. Anybody out there seen it? And they're like saying, giving us feedback. What we'd like to do a song from that show. And all of a sudden she's singing Beautiful from this like instrumental version that you wouldn't recognize until she started singing.
Well, I mean, that's the creativity of you and Lisa, the cast. I mean, if people don't like it, they're not going to come and see it. And people do like it. For you, you've been successful your whole life. I mean, this baby that you have given birth to, you and Lisa, how does it compare to you the night you won the Academy Award?
Well, that night is the night I became a songwriter. For many, many years, I was in Franke and the Knockouts. I had hit records with Franke and the Knockouts back in 1981 through 84.
Yeah.
And my first hit record back in 81 went top 10. It was a song called Sweetheart. And then next year, 82, was Without You, Not Another Lonely Night. And then, we did our next record, and the gentleman that was the president of the label, Jimmy Einer, decided that he was going to go into films and close his label.
Right.
And he sold us to MCA. And so MCA said that, well, we'd like you to sound like Night Ranger. And I'm like, why would you do that? You already have Night Ranger on your label. Yeah. And so they brought Night Ranger's producer in, and they tried to change our sound. And radio, wasn't ready for Franke and the Knockouts to be Night Ranger, so they dropped us. And so for the next year, 1985 and 86, I sold cars out of my driveway.
You're kidding.
So I wouldn't have to play in a cover band. And I continued to write to get another record deal. And this guy, Jimmy Einer, called me out of the blue in 1986. And I now am writing songs for a 4th Franke and the Knockout record. And one of the songs that I wrote with this guy named John DiNicola.
Yes, John is on the show with us. Yes.
The very first song I wrote with John was a song called Hungry Eyes, which not one record label thought was a hit record. And so when this guy, Jimmy Einer, called me and he goes, listen, I have this little movie I want you to work on. I said, Jimmy, I don't have time. And he goes, make time. This is going to change your life. And he goes, you're not going to change my life. You did that 2 years ago when you shut your label. And he goes, no, I got a good feeling about this movie. And I said, all right, Jimmy, what's the name of the movie? And he went, Dirty Dancing. And I went, oh, no, he's doing porn. He wants me to write to a porn movie.
Oh, God.
He goes, no, it's a good little movie. Johnny meets baby and the father doesn't like the kid. And I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And he goes, so the good news is I talked you into writing a song for the movie. The bad news is you're one of 150 people submitting for that scene.
Oh, my. And
I'm like, I'm going to have a chance here. So he gave me a 5-minute description of the movie. I called John DiNicola. I told him John, along with this other guy named Don Markowitz, sent me a track of music. And on the Garden State Parkway, exit 140, I put that cassette into my dashboard and the music came on and I'm going, time of my life, time of my life. And I'm scribbling time of my life on an envelope. And I wrote the song, not knowing what the movie was about. Really, the man upstairs wrote the song. So when I met Patrick Swayze at the Academy Awards, getting to your question here,
Yeah.
Patrick was like all over me. Come here, I need to talk to you. And I said, what's up, Pat? Who sang the song? Who sang the demos? And I said, well, I did with this girl, Rochelle Capelli, and then I sang Hungry Eyes. Who wrote the lyrics? I said, well, I did. I said, why is all this so important today to you? And he goes, because we had listened to 149 songs and we turned every song down and we were getting ready to film the last scene of the movie first out of sequence. And we were getting ready to do it to a Lionel Richie song. He goes, a good song, but it wasn't an original song for the movie. And he goes, Jennifer and I weren't really getting along. And we were like, let's get this piece of S done with, And he goes, the director walks in, he goes, wait, we got one more cassette, the 150th cassette. And he goes, they put that song on with you singing. And we were like, oh my God, let's go make a movie. And he goes, we filmed from 12 o'clock that night to 6 o'clock in the morning. And by the time we were finished filming, we just looked at each other and went, unbelievable. What just happened? Let's go make a movie. And he goes, then the next day we filmed to You Singing Hungry Eyes. He goes, it's just the camaraderie for the movie did a 180.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And God rest his soul. Patrick was, he was great. You made a good friend. By the way, for those of you on July 11th, you're going to be at the Axelrod Performing Arts Center.
Well, Axelrod Theater. It's over in Deal, New Jersey, which is, by Red Bank, right in between Red Bank and Asbury Park, which is the capital of rock and roll in New Jersey.
Right.
And it's a really nice theater. They do a lot of musicals, a lot of plays, and they bring in, live music and bands and things. And so they've asked us to come in and play locally.
Exactly. And that's going to be where Tyler Simon King. If you want to find out more information, go to tylersimonking.com.
Actually, let me interrupt you. It's Taylor Simon King.
Yeah.
And so it's James Taylor, Carly Simon, Carol King. There it is on the screen.
Yes, it is.
TaylorSimonKing.com. Any show that we're about to do will be on there, and you'll be able to either purchase a ticket or, call in and find out information about maybe we'll play by you. I'm trying to get down to Florida to tell you.
I am trying to get down here too, because Lisa promised me that if it happens, she would use me to introduce the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, she promised me. So,
Well, you know what? We'll get Taylor Simon King there, but we'll also get her disco show, which will kick your ass.
That's what I want to talk about next, because we got about 9-10 minutes left to go. We may run over past 4 o'clock a few minutes, Frankie, but it won't be long. Tommy, put up that disco picture, would you please? There's a disco picture there, and then there's also 2 videos. There's a disco picture, Disco Connection, Lisa Sherman's Disco Connection. She goes back to all the disco music that you were familiar with, that you see on your PBS station. It's a fabulous show. Tommy, if you can, would you please run the video of the disco show? There's like a 2 or 3 second delay on it, but just push that up there.
You have the latest one where she's like in a mirror and she's talking into a mirror. Is that the latest one you have?
Yes, that's the one that I have. There's like a second delay on it or something. You sent me everything, Frankie. You always take. You're the guy. You're the guy. And folks, when I tell you this man and I are very good friends, Frankie, I'm not lying, am I?
We're very good friends, Gary, but for a long time now.
Yes, for a very long, and thanks to someone else for introducing us for a long time. And Lisa, your lovely wife. But Frankie treats me like he does the rest of his family. I never get a Christmas card or a birthday card. I never get.
Well, you're part of the family now.
I am, and I have been always, and I am so honored by you to be your friend. And he's always there if I'm feeling down. I call him up. He talks me up and everything else like that. The last time we spoke, things are a little bit better than they were the last time. But yeah, Tommy will get that up in a little bit. But talk about the. Oh wait, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go.
I'm so glad you could make it. You were just in time to take a trip with me back to the 70s and 80s. You remember Saturday Night Fever at Studio 54 when the dance floor was jamming and the music, it never stopped. Come on, let's go disco.
On the block, 'cause we gonna boogie, boogie, boogie till you just can't boogie no more. Boogie, boogie no more. Boogie, all night in the neighborhood. Don't it feel alright? We're gonna stop all night. Wanna party till the morning light.
Oh man, how much fun was that? And we're just getting warmed up. Ain't no stopping us now.
Baby, burn. Oh, burn up. Baby, burn.
All right.
All
right.
right. Let me just tell you something. That video is live. That's what the band actually sounds like in the room. That was no, in the studio recorded. It's just that's what they sound like.
Yeah. And if you want to get tickets, the phone number is 732-704-4904. And I believe it's the discoconnection.com.
TheDiscoConnection.com. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, and get there. I mean, you see it on PBS. People love going. I like disco music, but I also didn't like the bell bottoms and the polyester pants and all that other stuff. That used to drive me crazy.
Gary, I was always a rock and roller. So disco, it was good to me. I liked it, but I didn't realize until Lisa put this band together how many songs I actually liked.
Yeah. I mean, even my favorite group, a group that I've worked with, who I was friends with for a number of years, who I adored, they're all gone now. The Spinners. They even had a couple of disco. Rubber Band Man. That's a true song about a guy in Washington D.C., which we'll get into at another time. But for those of you that are interested either in the Disco Connection, which again on April 20th they're going to be playing at the Count Basie, which is today at Red Bank in New Jersey, which is why Lisa is not here. But if you want to get, it's the Disco Connection.
We actually just played that show April 20th. So it's
okay.
Yeah, we already did that show, but we have a couple of others coming up that are more corporate sponsored gigs.
Was that show
gigs.
Was that show this afternoon or something?
That show today is what, May 20th?
The 20th. Yeah.
Well, April 20th was the other game.
Okay. All right.
At the Count Basie. But, that show sold out. It's amazing how many people still love that music. Disco lives.
Oh, yeah. And so does the music of Taylor Simon King. Go to TaylorSimonKing.com. Also, go on there. Go as well to 732-440-8899. Get your reservations, and you will have one of the most spectacular evenings of your life with true professionals on stage, produced by my good friend Frankie Previte, who's like a brother to me, Lisa Sherman, who's like a sister to me, and Lisa and I share that one thing in common, from We Are the World, where she did post-production, and I was there the night, of course, it was being recorded in Los Angeles, thanks to my roommate, who was one of the engineers on the album, on the song, rather. Frankie, we're about out of time because I want to get you out of here because you've got some work to do.
I
And I want to
appreciate
thank you
that.
so much.
Listen, I want to thank you for thinking of Lisa and I and having us on and being able to share with you what's going on in our lives with what's going on in your lives.
Well, you know what, Frankie, I couldn't have it any other way. And like I said, maybe we can work it out somehow to have some members of the cast. It'll take some doing, but to have the members of the cast on to get that emotional value from it, because those songs emote something that a generation needs today as much as they've ever needed before, with what's all the shenanigans that's going on
Right.
throughout the world. It
So
really,
when I
really
finish
does.
editing this last Mayo Pack video,
Send it to me.
I'll send it to you. And
Absolutely.
what I'm doing with this video is I'm condensing the 2 hour and 15-minute show down to 3 minutes.
Oh, all right.
And
I can get
giving
that
you
off to
like a
people.
glimpse, just like you saw with Disco Connection. This will be the journey of Taylor Simon King and the storytelling of how those three American troubadours, there was a thread that connected the three of them together, and why we picked these three.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's wonderful music, talented people, great production, and great people behind it, you and Lisa. And I want to thank Frankie so much, very much. God bless you, sir, for taking the time out of your day. I know how very, very busy you are. And I want to thank Lisa so much. I'm hoping next time, maybe in July or August, when we can do something again and have you both on. Because I'll be honest with you, I love seeing you, but I love looking at Lisa a whole lot better than I do you.
Well, get in line, brother.
Anyway, Frankie, thank you so much.
All right, my friend. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. God bless you, sir. And I want to thank all of you out there so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us. I know that this short show compared to usually a 1 hour, but you know what? It doesn't matter. The quality of the program, as far as with Frankie Previte, I can't get him all the time. He's very, very, very busy. We're going to take a couple of weeks and take a little bit of a vacation for ourselves and take care of and recharge our batteries a little bit, take care of our own personal stuff at home. But between now and then, I hope you take care of yourselves. I hope you take care of your family. I hope you're all well. And please, please say a prayer for this country. Say a prayer for everyone. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.